And I guess the whole summary of all of that, which I agree with, is that there's a plan, but there's not a script.
His knowledge is wonderful. His zest for the subject matter, right, is amazing because he loves this. He loves this stuff. A lot of it is pretty dull, but
He feeds off it. Yeah.
he just totally geeks out on it.
His
And
positive personality.
that was the last part that I was going to say is that he's always happy. He's always the cheerleader. And I mean, sometimes he goes through the financials and he's like, hey, and you're a little bit down over here, but that just looks like a real opportunity. And like something like that. It's like, dude, it's down. This sucks. Like, what are you talking about? But no, not Zeb, right?
He's got infectious enthusiasm for
He
sure.
has infectious enthusiasm and it's real. I mean, if you gel with the guy at all, you can't help but get that on you. Just it's infectious.
Which is also helpful in the one-on-ones, because when we have the one-on-ones every other week, with him and us, then yes, there's a prepared video that you can watch and see your synopsis of financially where you're at and talk about some things and nuances. But then there's other things that you talk about. So we've had times where like our restaurant was really, really struggling with staffing, and maybe a manager wasn't doing the right thing or whatever it is, right? He then can spend a half hour with you working through a solution. Well, that wasn't anything part of our financials. So that therapy, if you will, that business management therapy that he offers is huge. I mean, we've had a couple times where we're like, well, we have a meeting with Zeb. I don't really know what we're going to talk about. And then it just happens. And then you're like, man, I'm glad I had that meeting.
Right. Or I'll go into it like, I don't have time for this. Like, Zeb, I don't have time to talk to you today. Like, I just, I didn't cancel because I don't want to be that guy, but I really don't want to talk to you. And he'll be like, just legit. And he's like, well, what's the matter? I'm like, I just don't have time to think about this, Zeb. I've got this problem and this problem and this problem. And one day he says, what is on your desk right now that I can help you with? And I said, I don't know. And I pick up a piece of paper and I'm like, what do you know about this topic? And he's like, oh, well, this is, this type of a financial situation or whatever. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, yeah, have you thought about doing this? And I was like, no. That just makes that all cool. All right, good. How about this one? Like, what can I do for you today to make your day better? And I'm like, nothing. You can't help me. This is a shit pile on my desk. No, actually, he can.
And I guess the whole summary of all of that, which I agree with, is that there's a plan, but there's not a script. So we kind of, we have a plan, we have things that we need to do each year. And I mean, we kind of work through the annual calendar, right? But then there's not a script. So maybe you don't do it, or maybe you do, or maybe you do it 4 times. I mean, and that's all okay.
Or maybe you do it and it falls apart. And again, you're clear back to, I mean, we've had times when we're like running on stuff, and some days I'm like, today is a definite less than a crawl. Like, I showed up and that's all you're gonna get because it's all I've got left today.
And I guess that really works well in the outfitter community because it's flow. And not all organizations have flow. And having flow is how we all operate. I mean, we all operate on a river. And so yes, there's timetables, but there's also flow that has to happen in customers.
There's seasonality too, and just having to roll with punches, and you guys get punched a lot.
And so then having this organization and this relationship also work in that way is critical. Because if we had, a script and, things that we had to check off all the time, that wouldn't work.
Well, and I don't even want to say it because it's so like dorky, but like Zeb is like the business guru. You go talk to the guru. He'll make it better. It's like, whatever the problem is, go talk to the guru.
Well, we make a key point, especially during like high operating season, I love what you said, Susie, about having a plan, but not a script. We make a key point of leaving some time and all the meetings to just be like, what's key right now? What can we help with? Because you never know what it's going to be. And it could be that there's, a pipes burst, or it could be that you're barely crawling, like you said one day. So we do make a point to be there and roll with you with those punches.
Well, and your annual calendar reflects that too. You know, there's less meat in the summer on season as there is in the winter.
Mhm.
So. Mhm.
We know that it's hard to make the time to show up every couple weeks, rain or shine, high season, low season, high stoke, low stoke. So
Mhm.
that it's the consistency that makes it
Yeah,
relationship so strong, I think.
Mhm.
it is highly seasonal. And that is one of the hardest parts of outfitting. I guess that's why years ago when I started going to, to start with, we were broken. We didn't go to America Outdoors. It's like, oh, it's in, Vegas
Investment.
or wherever. It's like we can't afford that to go
Mhm.
take that trip in the winter. And then I will never forget the first time that I went. I'm like, oh wow, like we can't afford to not do this.
Mhm.
And so that's like this group. Like, if you're going to be in the business and you're going to be successful and stay energized and be able to look forward in your business and push the business to the next levels, like you have to do this because you're not going to do it on your own.
Yeah.
On your own, you're just going to be like, maybe growing, but you're not going to leverage up without more knowledge, without support. And to me, that's the huge thing that I believe that Zebulon and this group has done for us is we have leveraged up.
Right,
We have
absolutely.
leveraged up a long ways. And we weren't on that trajectory at all. We were on an okay trajectory, but we weren't leveraging up.
Well,
And
they
so,
don't know how.
right, in order to do things differently and to have a different outcome, you have to have more information. You have to have better information.
Mm.
You have to have better leadership, which I didn't possess.
Mhm.
So this group has been, I think in some, as you hinted at it before, that it's all about timing and a person's receptiveness and willing to make a change.
Yeah.
And we were at a great spot for this to just hit us in the sweet spot of like, oh yeah, just roll right into this. And I think that's been the magic for us. I would hope that it's the magic for anybody,
Yeah.
that it would go the same way. But I could see if you weren't receptive to it, if you weren't in the right spot, if you didn't drink the Kool-Aid, it doesn't work.
Well, that's music to our ears, and we are so grateful that you're willing to share your experience so candidly, and that we've been able to build this relationship with you. It's been a wild ride.
It's been great.
And it's not
It's
over.
been super
No,
great.
it's not over.